What's going on, Conscious Crew? It is your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. Hope you guys are having a wonderful and awesome hump day, girl. We are here to get into a little quick commentary, honey. I will probably be back later this afternoon, girl. We got some Bishop Criminal Head and Brandon Belmonte tea to get into, girl, because it's a lot going on. 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 Okay? But before we get into today's discussion, you already know what I need you all to do, which is first and foremost, thumbs up the video until it is absolutely stuck. Not only does thumbing up help with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, thumbing up helps triggers up YouTube's notification bell. Okay, when you thumbs up a video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another conscious crew member who has no idea that we're live and in motherfucking color. Plus, something really wicked is going on with YouTube's notifications. I've noticed that over the past week. YouTube always be doing ish to their system and be making internal changes and throwing shit around, fucking continuity up. It's just ridiculous. So whether you are a Bush baby or you're actively in the streets, in this live chat right now, or even a part of the replay gang, I need you all to thumbs up the video. It is the single-handedly most important thing you can do here on this platform. What's up? Shout out to all of the new subbies. Also, make sure that your notification bell is set to all. And don't forget to share this stream out to wherever it is you have digital community at, whether that is MySpace, Facebook, the dark side of Twitter, and Tumblr, your personal OF. I don't give a damn where you lay the link. Just let them whores know that we're allowed live and in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through. Okay.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, you guys, what's going on? Hey, Conscious Crew, let me speak to everybody in the building. Are we ready to drag Neo? You know, I spoke about this the other night, so I ain't really got too much to really say about Neo. I had like a whole 2-hour-long discussion about the interview he did with Miss Gloria regarding transgender children and transgender children's parents who allegedly, girl, allowed them to transition, which there is no fucking such thing as a medical transition at 5 years old. Like, literally, it's just the misinformation and the fear mongering for me. So you guys can go and check out that particular commentary if you missed it. I had another same gender loving person on the platform as well as a intersex individual, and we also had a trans woman on that panel as well. So it was a lot of us speaking to the situation. Also, speaking of LGBT related things, I'm going to be on Elisa Dunn. You guys know Elisa, who is Larry Reed's ex-wife. She has a podcast, and on August the 15th at 7 p.m., I've been invited to be a part of her all-star ensemble cast, and we're going to be getting into bridging the gap between the heteros and the LGBTQIA pluses, girl. Okay, we're going to be getting into cisgender. We're going to be getting into sexuality. We're going to be getting into just where we are as a people and how to move forward as so many unique people living such diverse and intersectional lives are living amongst us. And, you know, those of us who are interested in accommodating the world and not pushing rhetoric and not pushing ignorance and not pushing hate, but are interested in figuring out what this all means and how to accommodate, you know, everyone who's in the space. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you guys follow Elisa Dunn over on Instagram. Follow her as well on Facebook. I will post a flyer to the community wall after I'm done with this particular live chat. I will also link Elisa's information in the description box so you guys can follow her and have your reminders and everything set. It's going to be, she identifies as a biological heterosexual woman. Her co-host, I believe, also is a biological heterosexual woman. And then the rest of the panel, I believe, is going to be a member from the LGBT community, girl. So it's going to be me, the gay man. It's going to be a same-gender loving woman, aka my baby mother, Latrice, who is a same-gender loving woman. I think there's going to be a trans man or a trans woman on the panel, etc. So it's going to be a town meeting, if you will, okay? Similar to what we do here when we put on, you know, a panel and we have this discussion, except it's going to be way more tame than not ghetto, like how we get down. Okay, but I'll post all the information, so just check the description box and all of that. And let me speak to some of y'all coming into the building. What's going on, Ash? What's going on, Sean Dylan? Hey, Sean Dylan, what's going on, Rumors in Tea? What's going on, Deasia? I'm probably fucking up your name. The overreactress. Hey, boo. What's going on, Sharon? Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Ashley. What's going on, VS? Hey, Caitlin. Hey, Sharon. What's going on, Trini Gal? What's going on, Wax AP? Hey, Amore One. Thumbs up, guys, if you're in the building. What's going on, Lynn? Hey, Nakia. What's going on, Ann? Hey, Ashley. Hey, Dana. What's going on, Ian Gardner? Hey, Cynthia. Hey, Yoa. Hope you guys are having and enjoying yourselves. What's going on, Magic Crystal? Hi, I am Nicole. What's going on, Saki Speaks? Hey, boo. Let me see what overreactress said, right? Hey, Courtney. Hey, boo. The overreactor said, we've been at war, baby, and it's exhausting. I just had a friend overreact. I just had a conversation in the middle of the night with a friend last night, and I was just talking about how triggering the last few weeks have been. It almost felt like nothing has really changed, aside from the fact that LGBT folk are unwilling to back down. Like, that's kind of the only progress that's been made, is that LGBT folk are not going back into any of the closets, period. But in terms of the attitude toward LGBT folk, the willingness to slander LGBT folk and to fearmonger and to resist and to challenge and to, you know, do all the things, girl, it seems like there's no difference between 2023 and 1998. 1998 and 1960, 1960 and 1970. Like, this conversation that this TikToker is Blessing Rose, the Black trans woman whose video was taken out of context because she was responding to biological straight women trolling her ass on her own platform, trying to invalidate her trans womanhood. So that clip that went up was her response to the trolls on her page, basically telling the girls to stay in a fucking place. Y'all don't own womanhood, blah, 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 etc. You know, and I would have never thought that that clip would have led to just how crazy it got from there and how long it's lasting, which really, for me, I'm going to be honest, for me, this past 2 weeks and a half, what it let me know, and I always say this, especially to my Black LGBT folk, my Black LGBT tribe members, because, you know, us who are Black and queer, we live both lanes equally. Like, we're equally Black, we're equally queer. So we exist within an oppression of an oppression. And so if on one hand, you're not beating the hell out of pale people at the Alabama riverfront over racism, then you're battling homophobia and transphobia down there to the social medias and down there to the courthouse, where they are trying to restrict LGBT curriculum in schools. They're banning queer this, gay that, drag queen that down to the Florida. And so when you are living multiple oppressive intersectional identities, it can be very, 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 very taxing and very overwhelming. And there can be a feeling of frustration and defeat. It is really a lot to be a minority person, whether you are Black and woman, Black and man, Black and trans, Black and non-binary, Black and queer. To be a minority within a minority within a minority, it is just a hot mess. And so I just want to encourage everyone who is a part of a minority community. It is very, very difficult. Shout out to all of you who hold your heads up high and who really try to do the work and continue to lead with love, because the world needs so much more of that. Because if there was a lot of that in the world, we wouldn't be in the predicaments that we are in. And just keep your head up, prioritize your mental health, and please pick and choose your battles. I am not somebody who's going to speak about these things all the time, just for the sake of my own mental health. I'm not going to be somebody who's going to speak about patriarchy and misogyny and transphobia and homophobia and racism every time something pops off, because I have to protect my own mental fucking sanity and just actually like smile and actually afford myself pleasure and to have fun and not always participate in the upside down ass multiverse that we exist in as minority people. But of course, this is also where the fight is. So we have to tackle these issues. We have to put on the cape. We've got to fight for a sense of solidarity, because all of us are on the line when it comes to these issues. And, you know, you just got to stay high-spirited. So it's just a lot that be going on. And right now, I'm kind of like in a very antisocial mood where I don't really feel like being bothered with this subject right now anymore. And like society is really just has annoyed the fuck out of me. And I honestly just feel like I'm just living in a matrix with a bunch of dumbass, it's 3D thinking ass motherfuckers. And that makes me not want to be connected to any of these fucking people. Me and my friend last night was talking about actually moving the fuck up out of the United States. And we've been exploring some other countries, some other continents, girl, that are very productive and more utopian than the United States, because I honestly can't see myself doing this country for the next 10 years. I can't see myself here for another 10 years. I do not want to be a part of this system. I don't want to spend my whole life fucking fighting tooth and fucking nail the same way that my ancestors and their ancestors and their ancestors had to. I don't want to, and I don't want to fight from in the eye of the storm, girl, because it just really reduces one's quality of life to just have to constantly be in a fucking whirlwind, a political whirlwind, a socioeconomic whirlwind, a societal whirlwind. It's just stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid people that are fighting over stupid shit and are for real about the fighting. Like I was telling my friend last night, how ridiculous and crazy can it be? Like, there are literally people who are upset, bitch, upset that queer people are fighting for visibility. If you have any level of compassion or empathy, what the fuck? How the fuck could you ever have a problem with somebody fighting for their shit, bitch? Like, what the fuck else are people going to do other than fight for their shit? Like, when feminism revved up, y'all ain't hear me speak nothing about feminism. Matter of fact, I came and championed behind feminism. Even consider myself to be a fucking feminist, because I'm on the side of women getting their shit. Getting their motherfucking shit. Y'all don't ever hear me speaking against any minority group getting their shit. Black Lives Matter went up, get our shit. Feminism went up, get your shit. when the immigrants be coming over here, running from their country, sleeping on the goddamn sidewalks and curbs in New York, waiting to be housed and fed, I don't say shit. Get your shit. People have a fucking right to survive. People have a right to change systems that are abusive unto them, that are unjust and unfair unto them. I would never stand in the fucking way or have a fucking issue with their motherfucking community getting their shit, bitch. Get your fucking shit. Get your shit. Period. Point blank. Get your shit. The last hoe you gonna hear having an attitude, having a problem, having a pushback, having a clapback, having a anything, bitch, is CTV. Get your fucking shit. Get your shit. And if there's any way I can assist, aid in a bed, let me know so we can go get your shit. It's really fucking weird that motherfuckers actually have a problem with people fighting for fucking human rights. People fighting for visibility. People fighting for fair housing. People fighting against medical terrorism. People fighting against political and social economic terrorism and violence. And you got all these, I ain't got no problem with feminism, but I ain't got no problem with LGBT folk, but I ain't got no problem with Black Lives Matter, but I ain't got no problem with civil rights, but there ain't no buts. Motherfuckers will lay that line down just like Neo did. I ain't got no problem. But to Jason Lee's point, and we're going to get into this commentary, the only but you should have been talking about as it relates to kids, Neo, is how you fell short and felt your own fucking children when you decided to go bounce your ass around and allegedly lay down with expensive ass escorts and sex workers and humiliate your fucking wife and destroy your fucking nuclear family. While you got time to be up in other people's living rooms and bedrooms and criticizing the parents of trans children and pushing misinformation, you should have been occupying that microphone to tell other fucking black men who are fathers and husbands on how to not make the same mistake you made and what that mistake has costed, done, and how it has affected your own fucking children while you so concerned about the children. Because y'all love to be so concerned about the fucking children every time it comes to the LGBT phenomenon, bitch, but ain't no conversation or protectiveness or emphasis or conviction behind the damn children when it comes to any other circumstance and situation. And here it is, you are a bastardized ass divorced man as it relates to multiple counts of infidelity. You couldn't keep your dick in your pants. You had no level of discipline and self-control. And here it is, you're talking about parents whose backs are up against the wall about a very complicated issue like gender, and having the fucking nerve and gall to criticize them, bitch, as if you are the model citizen who can afford to be criticizing anybody's fucking parenting. And then you're talking about parents who are trying to find a way to affirm and love their children, right or wrong about it. The intent behind a parent who's raising a young transgender child is very complicated. And that's something you can never, ever, ever fucking relate to, because as Neo said, bitch, he comes from a world where, as far as he's concerned, girl, this wasn't even a fucking thing, which was also untrue as well. But he's right about the fact that there was no visibility. There was no conversation around queer people except for a religious and slanderous one. But how dare you destroy your own family off of a lack of competence And you criticize parents who are trying to find a way to keep their fucking children alive and from being a suicide statistic. Every time this raggedy tied ass 3D matrix induced ass society gets to talking about fucking trans children and the parents of trans children, you're talking about some of the most loving people in the world who are attempting to keep their children alive. How to figure out how to fucking go about this journey with no representation or no blueprint or no manual on how to deal with something this intricate and complicated. And whether all trans parents are people can have their opinions about the way that some parents are choosing to go about their journey with their trans children. But the reality is, right or wrong, people are trying to keep their children alive rather than walking into their 7-year-old's bedroom and finding them hung in the closet like so many transgender youth are being found. Unalive and snatched from this world. I was on another influencer's page having this conversation partially. I think it was the after show, and I stated that I don't even have an opinion about what trans parents are doing because unless it becomes my reality, I'm just not going to be able to understand what it's like to be in a predicament where you have a child that has the capacity to enter into depression to the point that it can lead them to taking their own lives or keeping them here, but also having to comply to giving them what they want as a means to keeping them alive in their actual bodies and supporting their transition. Now, when I had this conversation the other night, I would like to ideally think that if I was to ever become a potential parent of a transgender child, that I would openly support my transgender children transitioning aesthetically. Like most people, I will have a lot of issues with wrapping my head around them transitioning medically. I would not want my children to have a medical transition as I know that they're going to go through a lot of phases. They're going to go through a lot of changes in life. They're going to go through a lot of becoming, and I would not want them to do anything permanent to themselves. But I would definitely support them dressing how they want to dress, playing with whatever colors and toys and PS5 characters they want. I would get them a mentor. I would get them a therapist. We would constantly have our head in the books. I would be giving them lots of information about gender, etc. But if I was in a situation where my child, beyond all my means to support them outside of a medical transition, failed, and this was something that was really devastating to my children, because like I have watched documentaries on cases like this, and I have remembered crying watching some of these documentaries and just the level of complexity is involved in a situation like this. There was one particular case where I don't even know what the show was. It might have been on YouTube. It might have been on one of those Vice YouTube pages that be cover like fringe subjects and shit. But this particular trans child was threatening to unalive themselves. They were threatening to unalive themselves. They could not bear being in the body that they were in, etc. This was forcing the parents' hands to contemplate a medical transition. I think the child might have been 11 or 10 years old, something in that range. And the child was falling into a deep depression. They didn't want to be alive. They were making threats to unalive themselves, etc. And puberty was approaching. this was devastating the trans child even more because their body was going to biologically double down on the sex they were involved in. So this was a transgender girl. And her fear was her voice deepening as a result of puberty, her body hair, her shoulders, her feet, everything was going to continue to grow and sprout, and more maleness, more biological maleness was going to set in. Obviously, this would be a complete and utter nightmare for, you know, a transgender girl or even a transgender boy who is going to experience a lot of biological femaleness, periods. All of that stuff is going to come into play. Nightmare. And this almost created almost like a PTSD in the trans girl. So the parents, they backed up against the wall and they made a very tough decision to support medical transitioning, which can start as early as 12, no younger than 12. And at 12, you still cannot get the gender reassignment surgery, but you can start hormones, you can start estrogen blockers, testosterone blockers, things like that to prolong puberty, etc., to block the puberty stage. And, you know, I'm empathic. So as I'm listening and watching this, I'm completely able to Bluetooth myself into these parents' shoes, bitch. And to be honest, bitch, I don't know if I could take my child. First of all, I don't know if I could withstand watching my child be depressed. And all that comes with being depressed. And then on top of that, have my child have the nerve to want to not be alive and to even threaten to unalive themselves. I think that is a unimaginable predicament. And I think it's very easy to sit outside of a situation like that where your love is not active. When you get to have a bird's eye view at a situation like that, it's very easy to say what the fuck you would and wouldn't do. But when it comes to the matters of your fucking heart, and you put yourself in a situation like that with someone you love, and you make that scenario personal to you, I just don't think there is a right or wrong. I don't think there's a right or wrong. And I think it's unimaginable. And I think it's a fucked up and devastating position to be in as a parent. Because you don't want to expose your children to something they may change their mind about, something they may regret 6, 5, 10 years later. At the same time, bitch, you damn sure ain't prepared to bury no child either. What type of fucking choice do you make in a fucking situation like that? And you are already employing everything that you can employ to help your child. You already have them in therapy. You already allowing them to play in their masculine and feminine energies. You're supportive of them addressing and presenting themselves according to the gender that they feel the most comfortable and authentic in, etc. You affirm them. You give them the verbal affirmations. You give them the community that you're able to give them that also supports them. And they still, because they have to live in that vehicle, all of that is still not enough for them. What do you do? What is the absolute right thing to do? I don't think there is an absolute. I think what becomes right and wrong becomes very, 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 very subjective. You don't want your child to put chemicals and things in their bodies until they are really of age. and can blame themselves for any actions they take medically and not blame your ass, which has happened for a lot of detransitioners. They end up being very upset at their parents, which I think is misdirected and misguided anger. I think detransitioners who are very upset at their parents need to take responsibility too for the predicament they put their parents in. Because you cannot look at your mama and your father and say, I don't want to live, and I'm willing, and I'm going to unalive myself if I have to continue to live in this body the way that it is. And then expect your parents to not take you seriously and to tell you to go in your room and put you on punishment and risk your ass actually executing just that. That's unrealistic. When your parents love you and they've given you their heart and you turn around and tell them that you are so upset and you are so sad that you're willing to delete your fucking self, you got to take into consideration that type of emotional impression upon people who love you. And yeah, how far people are willing to go to save you. And all human beings can do is make the most informed decision they can in the moment. Nobody knows how those decisions are going to impact any one person 7 years from now. But if right now you telling me your motherfucking ass don't want to be alive, then obviously there are some decisions that have to be made right now, right here. And the roll of the dice is just that, the roll of the fucking dice. So I keep my mouth off of judging the parents of trans children. I think it's quite a circumstance to have to face off with. And saying all that, girl, Jason Lee found himself completely triggered as it relates to the viral clips that surfaced regarding Neo's recent interview with the ex-video model by the name of Gloria Velvez. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull up an old nasty visual for you all. A lot has happened. A lot has been said. There's a lot going on. Hey, y'all. Hey, everybody. So, oh, y'all, hold on for a minute. God damn it. I don't miss calls and everything. Okay. So you guys know Neo sat down with Miss Gloria Velvez. This is her to the top left of the screen, right next to T.K Kirkland. And she was interviewing Neo and T.K Kirkland. And her and Neo got into a conversation regarding the transgender, LGBT movement, etc. They was talking about how California is passing laws to basically penalize parents who are not gender affirming to their trans children. They were talking about how the government, has this agenda to over sexualize young people and this, that, and the third. And Neo went on a diatribe about how he don't understand how a parent could allow a 5-year-old to transition and to make these permanent decisions. Obviously, he was misinformed. No fucking 5-year-old is making any permanent decisions because 5-year-olds are not allowed to fucking transition. Okay? Any type of medical transitioning starts at the age of 12 with parents' consent. And once again, that transition only relates to hormone treatment, estrogen, and testosterone blockers. You cannot get gender reassignment surgery until you are 18 years of age. So any type of medical transition happens at 12, and it happens with the approval of one's medical professional and their families, their guardians, their legal guardians, okay? But Neo went on this diatribe about how this is a whole new world and he would never support that, and he's also not going to participate in what essentially he's calling a delusion. He equated trans people's identities to that of a damn goldfish. And he was saying things like, if you are old, you know, if you want to be a goldfish, go be a goldfish. Just don't try to get me to participate in you being a goldfish. So of course those clips went viral, and because most of the United States is uninformed about gender, half of these people in comment sections and under blogs have not taken a gender study course. They don't understand that these are real areas of education, that there are literal sexologists and professors, girl, okay, who have their whole masters and undergrads in gender studies, okay? This is like literally a whole area of study. It's not just male, female, and that's it, baby, okay? There's a lot of historical context, etc., as it relates to gender and the way that societies and communities and tribes and civilizations have explored and dealt with the phenomenon of people who blurred the lines as it related to sexual orientation and or gender in and of itself, okay? So most people were in agreement with Neo because they also don't understand gender as well, and they also have a lot of misinformation about when transitioning on a medical level actually can begin. So a lot of people didn't see what the fuck was wrong with what Neo said, etc. Nonetheless, he got dragged by allies and LGBT folk alike. So Neo had made an official apology and said that he understands that the topic is very nuanced and that he does lack education. And basically, he apologizes if anybody's feelings were hurt. It was not in his intent to hurt or cast judgment upon anyone, etc. And that he's going to educate himself and basically do that up. Well, Neo ass turned around and said, fuck all that, okay? He did a re-clarifying video once he got dragged by his straight community, by the biological heterosexual community for apologizing, because anytime anybody has the audacity to realize that sexuality and gender are very complicated subjects that should require intentional speaking, because this is a spectrum conversation. This is not a binary conversation. Of course, the straight folk go back to beating other straight people into submission. Like, how dare you give those LGBT folk any affirmation? How dare you play their game? How dare you love them? How dare you say this subject is complicated and deep and does require information? Every time anybody goes, any other biologically straight person goes to make any correction to their bullshit, the homophobes and transphobes in the dominant society like to come pillaging through like the damn village people and beat other straight people back into submission, back into their homophobia, back into their ignorance, back into their slumber. So Neo felt the pressure from his straight community, the same community that claims they love everybody. They ain't got no problem with nobody. Everybody good, everybody gravy. The black community is the most accepting of all people. Yes, except for when it comes to queer people, baby. Y'all accept them damn ex-cons as your pastors. Y'all accept them ex-thieves as your pastors, them ex-whores and prostitutes as your goddamn prophetess. Yeah, y'all forgive and allow and affirm everybody else, bitch, but queer folk, baby. You would think queer folk would be worse than a unaliver, but not really, bitch. The unaliver can have the potential to be the biggest hip-hop star in the world, supported by the dominant society. The unaliver can be the biggest mega church house preaching down to the ground ass motherfucker if you let the dominant society have it, baby. If you queer, bitch, it's up and it's fucking stuck. So Neo responded back and instead doubled down on his comments. So I'm going to play you Neo's newest unapology, girl. He unapologized, okay? Due to the loving straight community being angry at him for being compassionate towards queer people. Let me pull up my fair use graph. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and I'm actually just going to pull this up. Hold on, man. All right.
This is Neo. All right, listen. I normally don't give too much of a damn about what y'all think about what I do, what y'all have to say about what I say, whatever. I normally don't care because, like I said, opinions ain't special. Everybody got one. However, this is something I feel very strongly on, and I need y'all to hear this from the horse's mouth, not the publicist's computer. So check this out. First and foremost, I do not apologize for having an opinion on this matter. I am a 43-year-old heterosexual man raising 5 boys and 2 girls, okay? That's my reality. Now, if my opinion offended somebody, yeah, sure, I apologize for you being offended because that wasn't my intention. My intention is never to offend anybody. However, I'm entitled to feel how I feel. I'm absolutely entitled to feel how I feel the same way you are entitled to feel how you feel. I ain't asked nobody to follow me. I ain't asked nobody to agree with me. I was asked a question and I answered the damn question, okay? I have no beef with the LGBTQIA plus community whatsoever. I ain't got no beef with y'all. Do whatever the hell it is you want to do. Do what you want to do with your kids. However, somebody asked my opinion on this matter, and this is how I feel. I will never be okay with allowing a child to make a decision that detrimental to their life. I will never be okay with that. I don't care. I definitely plan to educate myself a little bit more on this matter. However, I doubt that there's any book anywhere or any opinion that somebody's going to tell me that's going to make me okay with letting a child make a decision like that. That's just period, point blank, and that's how I feel. If I get canceled for this, then you know what? Maybe this is a world where they don't need a Neo no more, all right? And I got no problem with that. I'm a hustler, all right? I'll figure it out. I got kids to raise, and I'm going to do that regardless. So with that being said, y'all have a good day. I love everybody. Live how you want to live, love how you want to love, but your opinion is yours. Speak your opinion as much as you damn well feel like it. Because as I said, they're not important, they're not special. Everybody got one, and you're entitled to it. I'm entitled to mine. All right? Y'all feel how y'all want to feel. Have a great day. It's Neo. Peace and love.
It's really a shame how the straight community always talk about how the LGBT community are bullies when it's really the dominant society who are bullies. They literally bullied this man into standing 10 toes down after he came to the realization that maybe the subject does require a bit more inner and overstanding, and that maybe he should have been a bit more educated before he literally spoke, because what he spoke in that interview was in fact misinformation. There's no such thing as a 5-year-old transitioning, and it was very fear-mongering, and he whistleblowed to all of the other members of the dominant society who lack education on this issue. But then the mob lynching starts, okay? It started. I think one of the problems here is the dominant society have to stop speaking at minority folk and have to start speaking to minority folk. This probably would have been a more productive exchange had Neo not been sitting down with another member of the biological heterosexual community, but actually been speaking to a person of the trans experience, maybe speaking to a parent who is raising and has had to take this journey with a trans child, etc. Most of these people, like Neo, who are speaking on this issue, have never watched a single documentary. He's admitting he's not educated on the issue, but yet these are always the people to hit the microphone the quickest. And this is also why queer people be side-eyeing all they so-called allies, because they are ally until that pressure is put on their fucking neck. And then they're talking out of both sides of their dick sucker. So I really don't know what to make of Neo's video, because on one hand, he was trying to have his cake and eat it too in his response. He was trying to give the straight community what they wanted and give the LGBT community what they wanted, instead of him just dealing with the issue as a man. And if he genuinely felt like there's room for him to be educated, then having the balls and the kahunas to stand down on that and to tell straight folk, fuck y'all. Y'all not gonna pressure me into nothing. I spoke, I said what I said, and looking back, I see that I'm not the most intelligent person as it relates to this fucking subject. I'm going to read a few more books. I'm going to talk to a few more people. I'm going to spend a bit more time on this motherfucking issue. And then I will go to speak and see what my thoughts are. And I accept the fact that I'm a public figure. What I say does have weight. And I shouldn't just speak about real shit in a reckless ass way as a public figure. I have a responsibility to speak emphatically, to speak intelligently, to speak intentionally as a fucking public figure. Especially about things that actually impact other people's fucking lives. You should have had the fucking cojones to do that. I'm pretty sure, though, that there is going to be no goddamn book that's going to really inform him, since the book that told him not to commit adultery wasn't enough to keep his ass from fornicating and committing adultery. But nonetheless, his homeboy, Jason Lee. Jason Lee is always clear about the fact that he's a blogger. He's Puerto Rican, Haitian, Hawaiian, and black bitch. He's all those things. But also never forget that he's also a gay ass, proud, identifying ass man. That he's unapologetically. Hold on, y'all. Hold on for a minute. All right, so Jason Lee did 2 separate responses, girl. One response, he went off, and then he doubled back around. So let's get into Jason's response video. This was his initial sentiments. This is a courtesy of Jordan's playlist on YouTube. You guys can go over there and check it out. This is covered by Fair Use, which is for commentary, parody, etc., etc. All right.
Probably gonna offend some people, and I don't care. So you can click out, you can swipe up, left, right, down. You get it's up to you. But I'm going to say what I need to say. This is directly to 3 people and communities. 1, Gloria Velvez, T.K Kirkland, and Neo. I don't know Gloria Velvez, I don't know T.K Kirkland, but I do know Neo. But I want to sign names to shit today because motherfuckers out here being real reckless. I did my show today and I got emotional. I never get emotional because I don't be tied to this. But it hit me today while I was doing my show because I had looked at the notes the night before. But it appeared that I had to address some stupid shit that saying on the internet. Both of them, and the reason why Gloria Velvez's name is in there because she's the interviewer of both. I didn't make the connection until I went back and watched the clips because I got the notes and went back and watched the clips. I didn't even know who Gloria Velvez is because I guess she was a video girl that nobody watches videos anymore. Y'all ain't booked the way you were back in the day, and I wasn't watching you when you were booked. But apparently you're a Puerto Rican. So the fact that I'm even addressing you doing interviews with these 2 about the gay community is crazy because I don't know if you're peddling homophobia. I don't even know if you even know that you're peddling homophobia, but I saw you like my Instagram, so you're aware of who I am. And I just got the phone with DJ Vlad, your boss, because I want to give him respect because I do have respect for him before I said what I was going to say. Now, those of you that are peddling homophobia, like Jess Hilarious is peddling homophobia, gaslighting black women or women in general into defending certain things that we all agreed with to make you all justified in being homophobic, that's the shit I'm addressing today. Because why I got emotional is as much as I push the culture, the black culture, the culture, I'm also gay. So I'm going to also push and promote the gay community. And I'm going to defend them too when you're wrong. And I dare any of you motherfuckers there to want to jump on the bandwagon to do some slick, shady support them. I dare you. Because all of you out there, sexual assaulting motherfuckers, with, cheating on your wives, all that shit will come out. Because I'm thinking of a new show called Dirty Laundry where I just lay all your shit. I don't never out you. All you basketball players running around guzzling balls, I don't ever do that. All of you out there talking about parenting, but you leaving your... Hold on, let me get to it.
Okay, so Jason is snapping, girl, and he's saying basically he expects some of these folk to get information and not be so quick to speak about shit they don't know, especially when they're out here doing all type of infidelities and committing all type of fucking atrocities and have the nerve to play a righteous crusader when it comes to the queer community. And he could be using his own resources to put their asses on blast, but instead he be chilling out, etc. But every time they get the opportunity to be homophobic and transphobic when queer people not even doing shit to their asses, it's abominable. It's downright unnecessary. And since everybody want to be so vocal and yabba dabba do about the LGBT community who only trying to get their shit, then hell, let's really set the roof on fire and just air everybody's shit and lay an opinion and lay down our burdens and spill all the tea that can be spilled. Since everybody is so entitled to an opinion. Okay, now there's certain things that Jason about to say that also got him in trouble and that had folk looking at him sideways, so we gonna continue to listen to this.
So I saw this earlier, and Neo, yes, I got your number, but you didn't think of calling me as a consultant before you said this dumb shit, so I'm gonna address you straight on. Because people said that you were homosexual, people said you were ugly, people talked about you gained a little weight, they said you fat, okay, you ain't wrote a song like the Beyonce song in a minute, so the people say you fell off, but I never hated on you. Even in Dubai, I showed you love, I always show you love, I text you good wishes, but you're talking about parenting, you the same. Okay, this is what you said in the interview. You said this on camera. And yeah, maybe you apologize, but I don't get to the internet fast enough. So here we are. And I gotta say this is an example for everybody watching, because you know when people, like when police officers kill unarmed black men, they do it to see if you will stand down. And if you stand back and stand down, they keep doing it. So it's not permissible. So that's why I'm assigning names. In the interview with this girl, Gloria Velvez, and I'll address you in a second too, you said you have no issues with the LGBTQIA. When you say that before you even say another word, that is your disclaimer to tell us the issues that you have. That's like when white people say, I ain't got no problems with, yeah, you do, and now we're about to hear them. You go on to say, love who you love, do what you do. I just personally come from an era where a man was a man and a woman is a woman, and there were only two genders. Now, you could identify as a goldfish if you feel like, but I don't care. That ain't my business. It becomes my business when you try to make me play the game with you. I'm not going to call you a goldfish. Then you went on to say, we need to go back to the old days. I feel like parents have almost forgotten what role of a parent is. If your little boy comes to you and says, Daddy, I want to be a girl, and you just let him rock like that, he's 5. And let the 5-year-old boy decide he can't be all day, what he's going to do. I'm not even going to read no more. First of all, your number one job as a parent is to stay with your family, but you cheated on your wife with the strippers and had them babies on her, and then you left your family. So you didn't do your number one job as a man. As a parent, you did what my daddy did. You dropped it off and then you moved on because you have a sexual problem, allegedly, a sexual health problem, allegedly. Okay? Your sex addiction made you show that you weren't a good parent. And you know what? I didn't even write on you for them, and I got daddy issues. I let you live because I have respect for you as an artist. I didn't get too personal. See, when y'all drop your dirty stuff, I don't come to the internet and talk about you. Those of you beating up your girlfriend, throwing them down the stairs when they're pregnant. In your teen years, listen, I let you off live. Why? Because I don't go there with you. Paying to suck your little, that's pedophilia, okay? But I let you live, marrying pedophiles, all types of weird going on in the straight community. But here we are talking about show.
Okay, so that's the part that kind of had some people side-eyeing. Jason Lee, hold on, you guys, I'm trying to do something real quick. I gotta do an emergency landing real quick. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I gotta send an email super quick. Hold on. That's the part that got Jason Lee into a bit of a hot pickle because folk was just like, girl, so are you saying that you're over there protecting abusers and pedophiles, etc., because you're saying that you are letting all these people live and you ain't say nothing when they were getting their dick sucked and paying underage people to give them oral fixation, and you ain't say nothing when folk are marrying pedos, etc., girl. Like, the folk didn't know what that meant. They didn't know what JP did. He expose himself as a bit of a gatekeeper, and he's sitting on all of these sins of men, and he's not using his platform to expose this level of devilment. Like, folk didn't know what it was given. Now, as I listened to this, that's what it definitely sounded like at first glance, right? But then I started putting things into perspective. Hold on, y'all. I start putting things into perspective. And when he said, people out here marrying pedos, I was like, okay, he's more than likely probably talking about Onika Minaj. You guys know him and Onika have been in conflict and beef for a long time. And he's definitely gone in and going to fuck off and drag the living shit out of Nicki Minaj, and she's married to Kenneth Petty, who you guys know is a registered sex offender. Okay. When he was talking about those who be abusing their girlfriends and throwing them downstairs and all of this and all of that, I do know that there have been like stories over the past few years that have gone viral, involving athletes who were abusing their girlfriend. I forgot the name, but you guys know there was that NFL player, I believe, or one of those NBA players last year where footage had came out of him abusing his girlfriend, throwing her through glass tables, etc. Then you guys know, I think the year before that, there was another athlete who was abusing his girlfriend, and I think there was surveillance of them leaving a building, and they were like arguing in the stairway, and he like threw her down the stairs. So I was like, maybe Jason is speaking about situations that have already played out, that have already come to the light, and that he did not personally choose to talk about or speak about those situations and to report on those things. You know, he allowed other systems to take care of those individuals. Or rather, Jason is talking about things he knows on the low that he chooses not to say anything about. So it's either one of those things, that he either is speaking about things he know on the low that he has allowed to slide for the sake of whatever, for the sake of maybe sustaining his own relationships and connections or whatever his motives are, or maybe he's speaking about shit that played out that he did not personally choose to speak on for whatever reason. And he's expecting that picking and choosing of one's battles as it relates to the straight community when it comes to the trans issue, etc. So I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think about Jason Lee's, like, how do y'all interpret what Jason Lee said?
Us, okay? Don't mistake gay and lesbian trans to no fish. What the you mean? What the you mean? That was some ignorant, Neo. That was some ignorant. Worry about who the tucking your kids in at night when you all these other random. Now let me talk about T.K. Kirkland. You said we shouldn't have Pride Month. You sound like white people when they say we shouldn't have affirmative action. You sound like white people when they say we shouldn't have a Black History Month. You sound like white people when they question why we have Juneteenth. You the same sitting around asking for 40 acres and a mule, but where all that energy at when it's time for us to talk about the gay community? We different than you have to in your community, so anyway. Got Dwight Howard in interviews defending his sexuality when he's asking for fix, but did I go on right on him? No. In fact, I DM'd him trying to look out for him to make sure he was good because I don't out people. Okay? Now, Gloria Velvez, I went to your Instagram. You Puerto Rican. When Trump was throwing y'all paper towels and putting your cousins in cages in Mexico, we had to get back. It's always the gay community that fights for you. When they say that you as a woman, white men, when they say you as a woman shouldn't be able to have reproductive rights, it's me and gay people standing for you saying it's a woman's choice. I've even said it's not a trans woman's position to say what a woman should do with their body. I'm always right in supporting the right situations. But you know what? Y'all so busy parenting everybody else. How many people, how many kids have you let go? How many kids do you take care of? Worry about your own families. But see, here's the deal. This is my issue with Gloria. She's peddling the homophobia. Just like when Desolari said what she said in response to that trans video. If you go back and watch the whole video, in fact, me and T.S. Madison get into it today on the Jason Lee Show. Go check that out. You guys take bits and pieces of your issues that we also agree with, and you peddle homophobia by wrapping it all up and putting a bow of homophobia on it. Mad because people think you look like a trans man because your man is leaving you for. Stop being mad at the that you can't control and taking out on our community. Now what I'm gonna do, since y'all woke it up, instead of me worrying about the deals I don't want to lose by being me, I'm going to stand for what I.
Okay, so now he just kind of let us know his motive. We still don't know if Jason Lee was talking about things he know that is also not known to the public, that he been keeping hush about, or rather he's speaking about things that have already entered into the public domain that he just personally chose not to speak on or give his opinion on, etc. But irregardless of which one of those is the context for him talking about the abusers of all kinds, etc., he just let us know his motive has been he hasn't spoken on those situations out of navigating Hollywood and not wanting to upset the powers that be and protecting his own bag, etc. But now he's saying fuck all that. Like fuck the bag, fuck Hollywood. At this point, I gotta stand on principle. I gotta stand on what the fuck I believe in. Since all y'all standing on what the fuck y'all believe in, I need to stand on what the fuck I believe in. And I'm just gonna be willing to endure that cross and the consequences and repercussions on standing on principle. And it's gonna be what the fuck it's gonna be.
Whether I lose it or not. And if I lose a deal because I have to tell you, Neil, that you should focus on being a good parent and keeping your intact and not going and sticking it in everybody and having all these babies by strangers, then that's what I'm going to do. I don't want any calls, no text messages, don't ask me how I'm doing, because today, them tears on my show was passion. It wasn't pain. I'm never going to let y'all hurt my feelings. But I'm always going to speak from the heart, and I'm going to always keep it real. And one thing WAP 100 always says about why he respects me is because I'm openly gay. I don't need to run from rumors. I don't need to run from circumstances. I don't need to run from suspicion. I tell you what it is. I don't even hate y'all. I'm just addressing you. This ain't hate. This is love. This is somebody keeping it real. Because there was nobody hanging around with Neil when he was them strippers saying, don't do that to your wife. There was nobody hanging around T.K. Kirkland and say, how you going to go out there and say the same white people say about black folks and then sit here and try to be down with Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, Black trans lives matter, Black gay lives matter, all of us matter. And guess what? All of y'all out there speaking on how people are parenting their kids and ain't taking care of your kids and ain't worried about keeping your family intact, you're a hypocrite and we all see it. So keep your hypocrisy to yourself. Talk about comedy, talk about songs, talk about songwriting that none of you are being talked about for on the blogs. Talk about that. And you can all dodge dumb questions. When I did the Amanda Seales interview, I loved it. It was a great interview. I had an amazing time. But when she tried to tell me what my answer was to her question, I told her my answer is my answer. You don't get to tell me my answer. Be in control of your interviews or don't do them. Everybody ain't made for this internet. I said what I said. And this let them.
Okay, so every man has their limits, and Jason Lee apparently is at his wit's ends, baby. He willing to sacrifice it off in order to be on his Jason Luther King shit, girl. Okay, well, Jason Lee ended up making good on his promise to gather everybody ass together. So you guys just heard him sever his relationship to Neo publicly. He want all the smoke. He don't want no affiliation with Neo. He don't give a fuck. He done with Neo ass. And he had quite some interesting things to divulge about Miss Gloria, who he also felt was low-key whistleblowing and peddling homophobia, etc. And I'm going to let you guys hear Jason's response to his own video, because he came back with some alleged tea regarding Miss Gloria girl. And T.K Kirkland also responded to Jason's sentiments. I want to shout out to my baby mother, Anita, who says, thank you and God bless you. Thank you, baby mother. Love you down to the ground. Thank you, thank you, thank you. May God bless you 10 times fold. Thank you, baby. Oh, and shout out to Patrick, who also PayPal'd me a donation on yesterday. Shout out to Patrick and shout out to Anita. Thank you guys so much. So what we're about to hear, girl, is Jason Lee coming around the mountain, y'all, okay? And the title of this video was from his Instagram live on yesterday, and it says, I was triggered, so I started digging. Crazy what you can find on the internet. We are all fighting for human rights, but you will still twist my words. So listen to Jason's most recent video 19 hours ago over on his Instagram page. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, I ain't got no audio. Hold on.
Instagram is me, Jason. I made it home, as you can see. I wanted to come here because, yesterday I talked about the whole controversy online surrounding Neo, and I was triggered. I was in my feelings. So I came back today to say, now that I'm not in my feelings, I stand by what the fuck I said. Okay, so now that we got that out the way, I was more disappointed than hurt. I was hurt. I'll be honest with you, I was hurt, but I was also disappointed. Well, let me say what else I was disappointed. I was disappointed to go back and start researching to find some things to open up this conversation. See, a lot of you are trying to equate sexuality or sex parts with identity. And because there's a lack of education in our communities, I'm not even going to sit here and waste my time arguing with them. It's because two things to be true. You can be a clown or you can argue with one and be mistaken for one. I'm not going to be either. What I will say is that when I went back and dug around, the interviewer who interviewed T.K Kirkland and Neo, her name is Gloria Velvez, the beautiful former vixen, video vixen, whatever, who does the podcast. She was asking all the questions, kind of gaslighting homophobia. I went back and found out that she had a baby at 16 by Aaron Hall, who was 30, which means that unless they fucked the first time and she got pregnant and had that baby, then they was having sex when she was 15 and he was 30, which is a 15-year age difference. But when I Googled the age of consent across the United States, it looks like the minimum age is 16, which is sick, by the way. But either way, she was underage. So, Gloria, when you sit and interview people about parenting decisions on what is right or wrong for their kids, who was parenting you when you was having babies at 15 by a 30-year-old man? Who was watching you? Baby fat? Because we know what the baby fat coach was doing for all of y'all in the hood. That's when the young girl with the brown paper book bag at school was dating a nigga in the hood who was over his 21 years of age. So we gonna start addressing shit. We gotta address all of it. Because if I look online and see how many kids under the age of 5 had gender reassignment surgery, I bet you that the number is less than you had women had abortions. I bet you if we Google gender reassignment surgery of kids under 12, that number will come down for the amount of women who were pregnant by men in their late 20s, 30s when they were teenagers. Now, if you really want to go there, it should be some people locked up in prison for the conception of that child at that early age. But then, what do I know? Because y'all so consumed with what the trans and the gays is doing. I miss you. I'm talking to you, baby. Yes, that Aaron Hall. I'm just asking the question. Can we all keep that same energy? I'll be back. Still doing research. Bye.
Baby. My God, to goddamn day. My God, today, girl. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard him right, girl. He put a whole address, area code, zip code, and last four of the social on it, bitch. Okay? Y'all heard him drag the living dog shit out of Neo, girl, in the first video, calling out Neo having the audacity, girl. Then circle back around for Miss Goddamn Gloria Estefan, girl. Baby. And called out her, laying it low, spreading it wide, with an old nasty piece of 30-something-year-old man, girl, while she was 15, 16 years old. And both of these heathens sitting up in a podcast episode having the nerve to address the parents of transgender children about the way they trying to love and affirm and keep their children alive in this world, while both these heathens are the last recipients, girl, of the Parent of the Year award. Okay. Woo! Well, as all that was happening, girl, T.K Kirkland responded on his Instagram, and he said this. He said, listen, and he added Jason Lee, Hollywood Unlocked, Gabrielle Union, and Dwayne Wade. He said, I'm not none of these Hollywood clowns. I move different, and I got the street cred to prove it. My message today is, if you know a kid under 21 years of age, let's protect them. This is not an argument. I'm not going to attack anyone personally. Do what you want if you are grown, because if you don't believe anything I'm saying, who raised you? ? And then he chucked up the deuces. Okay? So Kurt kept it nice and sweet to the point, added a little gangster on the end to let Jason know he ain't the one to motherfucking play with. And hell, he down with protecting all the kids, etc. child. Okay? Now, as far as I know, Miss Gloria, she ain't responded yet. Neo hasn't responded yet to Jason Lee. But this is where the current situation stands. Okay? Tell me what y'all think about the situation, girl. I'm not mad at Jason Lee for saying, fuck it. I think we do have to be a principled people at some point in time in our lives. We can't prioritize the superficial over our actual values. And I'm glad that Jason Lee is not going to prioritize Hollywood or prioritize the bag or prioritize clicks and views. That at this point, he leading from his heart. He gonna stand on principle. And I stand with that, baby. Do you go in, go the fuck off, Sarah Lee. Okay? Show them what Crenshaw Unlocked is all the fuck about, baby. Because all this slander that queer people done endure, girl, from religion and Christianity and social norms and taboos, baby. Queer. If the dominant society want the smoke, then the fire is what they shall fucking get. Let there just be war. It is what the fuck it is. Because what is not gonna happen is LGBT nothing, bitch, ain't moonwalking back into the obscurities of society. We here, we black, and we fucking queer, and we gonna swing equally on both sides as it relates to our truths and our motherfucking identity. And if hoes want to get in the way, we will manually move their ass out of the way. I'm here for it. Take no fucking shit. Fuck this whole fucking system. I'll see y'all later. God bless. I'm out.